You're listening to theoutdoorstation.co.uk.
Hi again, everybody, and welcome to another Outdoors Show special from the 2008 Outdoor Show up at the NEC. And this one is all about gear. Yes, that stuff we love to fondle, talk about, use and abuse endlessly. We're going to have a chat with a variety of people who were at the show, some things about new items coming through, and with people with established gear, and catch up with their news and so on. So just to give you an idea, we're speaking to Freeloader, the solar technology charging units, Tim Butcher from Montane, that very well-known Tim Butcher, downloaded Tim Butcher from Montane, is joining us to talk about the new products from them. We catch up with Sam Fountain from Shewee. We meet a man walking around in a bucket of water to do with sealskins, and we also have a chat with Paul Cosgrove about pacer poles. First we chat to Jim Evans at Alpkit. Now, Alpkit had a very popular stand at the show. They obviously had their collab stand as well, which attracted a lot of interest, and they were showing some very interesting new products which were coming through for 2008. But first I asked Jim if the show once again had been the success for them they'd hoped.
Oh, this show's always good for us. It's great to meet people that we talk to on the website all the time. I think a lot of people think internet retailing's a really impersonal thing. We find it really personal. We chat to people a lot on email and on the phone. The only thing we don't know about people is what they look like. So be able to put a face to a lot of people's emails and phone calls is great.
Now, you're showing at the show as well some of the new items that are coming through this year. We're quite intrigued by some of them, so give us a bit of a lowdown on them.
So a couple of the products I'm working on at the moment is a lot of people ask us to do rucksacks, so I'm working on a small rucksack range. Nothing that's going to be earth-shatteringly new, just good core basic products that do what they say on the tin and be a rucksack and carry stuff well. So I've got two models. They're going to work on the same back system, which we have an EVA moulded back system. Hopefully we'll have two back lengths, a short and a long, or a regular and a longer. Removable parts to it, so you can adapt the sack to how you want it. So if you want it lightweight, remove all the stays, remove the EVA backing, remove the hip belt. If you want it as a more load carrying, you're not too worried too much about the weight, put the hip belt back in, put the stays back in. And then on the front of the sack, we'll make a bomb-proof Cordura version with the full compression straps, very much sort of lightweight Alpine attack style packs, basics, 60 litre, sort of about 40 to 60 litre size. Just simple, bulk standard, get out and do it type packs.
Well, these are samples we're looking at the moment. These are factory samples, I presume?
Yeah, these are our first samples straight off the production line, so I'm pretty pleased with them. There's a lot of tweaks to do on them, but as first samples, I'm pretty happy with them.
They've got a. Well, I mean, I must admit, I would see these on the shelves straight away, and I could see them flying off if you put them out for sale. The lid pocket here, is that the whole lid section? Is that removable, or is that all attached?
No, it's a fixed lid. Originally, we talked about doing a floating lid. I think that might be something that we'd move on to in future ranges. This range really, there's about the sort of 40 to 50 litre size with fixed lid.
The two rucksacks you've got here, they are cross-compatible in the sense that you can take items off one and put it on the other. The materials are different, so making one a very lightweight pack and the other one more of a heavy-duty pack. Would that be fair?
I think they're two different packs, but they're basically based on the same back system. So one is very lightweight backpack, and one's much more sort of tougher climbing sack, really. So really two I'd say it's two very different audiences, but very much using the same technology on the back system.
I know it's early days, but do you have any idea of the sort of price point you'd be looking at for these?
The ideal price point I'm looking at is £35 to £40
wow.
for the pack. So, you know, like all Alpkit stuff, they're going to be pretty competitively priced. If we can go cheaper, we'll go cheaper, but we don't want to compromise the quality by going too cheap.
Well, they look fantastic. So I'm sure as and when they come through, the people need to keep their eyes on the website. Two side pockets. The lighter pack's got a larger front pocket, which is sort of a compression unit, and definitely significant differences in the material. So certainly, is there a name for these?
No name yet. If anyone's got any good names, email them through.
And I see you going into jeans. What's this all about?
Well, this is. I think this epitomises what Alpkit's about, really. We saw this fabric a couple of years ago at Friedrichshafen, and it's a fabric made by by Nestec. It's an Epic fabric, so it's the same fabric as Black Diamond use in their bivvy bags. Or it's the same company that make the fabric that's used in Black Diamond bivvy bags. And basically it's a process where they had a siliconized the cotton fibre before it's woven into a cotton fabric. So this time it's been woven into denim. The upshot of that, it makes it windproof, and the great thing about it is if you pour water on it.
Oh, whoa, blimey, that was that's
totally dry.
Very effective.
So we've had some on test for about 18 months because we were quite sceptical of how we originally were told it was a totally waterproof fabric. We don't think it is. It's water resistant fabric, and the best way we can describe them is soft shell jeans. So they're great for kicking around the crag, going boating and you get some water splashed on you from a boat. It doesn't affect you at all. Really comfort. So they're a climbing cut, so they're quite baggy. They're not going to affect you if you want to do the splits. You can do the splits in them. They're also got a lycra percentage in the material as well, so they're stretchy, and we hope to have these out September time.
Well, I have to say that is probably one of the most impressive simple products with a different use to it that I've seen for a long time. There doesn't seem to be a lot of new exciting stuff around at the moment, and I would say probably this will fulfil a lot of needs from that point of view. Come on, what's the price on those?
We're hoping, again, this is why it's such a great Alpkit product. We're hoping to do them for about £40. I don't think they're worth a lot more than that to a lot of people. And I think if another brand did them, and this is why I don't think you've seen this technology with a lot of other brands, because it's almost priced out in the market. But because of the selling model of Alpkit, we're able to do this sort of product and keep it at a reasonable price and bring it to market. So they're going to be an exciting product to launch at the end of the summer.
I think so. I mean, I think I'm instantly, when I saw the water run off the material there, I instantly was thinking of people like motorbikes. You know, people are commuting that want to look smart socially, which they are obviously a smart pair of jeans from that point of view, but they're really practical if you're on the way to going out on a boat or something like that, and you are going to get wet. They just don't. There's no absorption to them at all. Well, congratulations on your new designs. Thanks for the preview. It's been very exciting to see them, and I'm pleased the show once again has been a great success for you.
Cool. Thanks very much, Bob.
Jim Evans from Alpkit, and keep your eyes open for the new products coming through in 2008. Now, if you're anything like me, when you're out and about and you take with you various bits of technology, your phones, your GPS, your cameras, whatever, of course power is the big fear, and you end up carrying with you different adapters just in case you can find a place to charge your products should the circumstances allow. Well, of course, solar technology has moved on in massive leaps and bounds just lately, and Adrian Williams is the MD of the Solar Technology International, and they are responsible for Freeloader, the new portable solar charging device that you may be seeing in all the shops currently, and which may be the answer to all our charging problems.
Okay, the core product is Freeloader. Freeloader is a very intelligent little device using a lithium-ion battery and a little electronic circuit that detects the voltage demand of products that are coupled to it. So Freeloader in itself basically is charged via two solar panels that clip on either side of the battery. When the device that you want to power is hooked up to it, power is transferred automatically, and it does so in around about 45 minutes to generally fully charge your mobile phone.
Right, okay, so let's start with the basics then. With the Freeloader itself, it's probably the size of what? An elongated pack of cards, possibly a bit thinner than that?
That's it, yep, it's a very, very small device. So sort of a cigar packet type size. It weighs 185 grams, and effectively it's really, generally speaking, the only charging product a lot of people will need.
Excellent. So what does the actual package come with then? Obviously you've got the central unit there, and I presume the two cells that clip on the outside of it. Could you just talk me through it?
Yep. The basic product comprises of a lithium-ion battery. There are two solar panels that clip on either end. Those are the main means by which you charge the Freeloader hub, the battery section, if you like.
So that stores the charge for you then to discharge it into whatever machine you want to later on? That
stores the charge, correct. But there's also another way by which you can charge Freeloader, and that is via a USB cable. We supply a USB connection cable. So in other words, we have a lot of customers who use this as a business traveller device. So in other words, the solar panels may never be used. In other words, you just use the hub, the battery section Freeloader, plugged into the laptop. That delivers power into Freeloader, and then from Freeloader you can charge all your portable devices.
So what does it come with as a package as regards connections? Because obviously quite a lot in the box there, I guess.
That's right. So you basically got the freeloader, the solar panels, you've got the USB connection cable, you've got the main power cord, and then you have 11 tips. Now those 11 tips comprise of the 30-pin iPod tip, they comprise of mini USB for things like BlackBerry smartphones, GPS, sat-navs. We've got a Nintendo DS Lite connector, we've got a PSP connector, we've got connectors for all the current and the older Nokia phones, current and older Ericsson phones, Samsung phones, Motorola and LG phones. There's also a USB 2 socket, and the purpose of this is that any device that takes a charge from a USB can also take power from Freeloader.
Wow, what a comprehensive piece of kit, and it's so neat as well. The unit itself, obviously, with the solar panels that clip onto the side of it, is not the type of item that you could hang on a rucksack or whatever if you're doing sort of travelling by foot or by kayak, I guess. How do you envisage it being used as it stands? Sort of in a hotel during the day and just leave it there to charge, rather than actually being strapped to your body somehow?
Sure. I mean, a lot of customers use it that way, but we always realised that the big market for this product was hopefully going to be the outdoor market. Obviously, people who are away from power hookup points for more than 2 or 3 days. So we've developed a product called Supercharger, and Supercharger has been developed to really address, if you like, the shortcomings of Freeloader. Shortcomings namely being that the product itself is not particularly robust, and neither is it weather resistant. So Supercharger is all of those things. It's a bigger solar cell. It only weighs a couple of 100 grams. It's supplied in a very tough case. It's completely flexible, weather resistant, and it's very, very tough. So the Freeloader is then designed to attach to the outside of a backpack, business bag, bicycle pannier, pretty much anything really where you need something to be outdoors all of the time. And that then connects directly into Freeloader's battery hub section. Being a bigger solar cell, it also charges Freeloader twice as fast as Freeloader's original solar cells. So in other words, you're getting two full charges of Freeloader's battery from Supercharger in a day.
Okay, well, I'm just looking at one here now, and I suppose it's a bit bigger than an A5 panel, I guess. How do you make it so it'll fit universally to anything?
Well, there are two strapping mechanisms. On one end there's a Velcro strap, quite a long Velcro strap. So depending on the bag in question, you can sort of have it longer or shorter as you wish. And then on the other end there are two sort of mini crocodile clips, which effectively can clamp on very, very securely to any flap of material.
Okay, and where do you actually host the central body, the Freeloader itself? Does it tuck into a pouch on there?
Yeah, well, the Freeloader can be slotted into a custom-made pouch which we supply, or indeed it can be just wrapped in a plastic bag, and just as long as the battery hub, is inside the bag and is kept dry, it's going to be fine.
So how long has the product been on the marketplace, and what sort of feedback are you having from end users now?
Well, the Freeloader is still a relatively new product. It hasn't been really on the marketplace for much more than 6 months. The feedback has been very positive. We've been developing a lot of new applications for it. So whilst the Freeloader main unit is supplied with 11 adapters, we've developed an additional 20 adapters that fit a lot of obscure products, so that as people get more and more gadgets, they can go onto our website and order the specific adapter as necessary.
Okay, well, I think a lot of people will be instantly interested in this who use electronic equipment outdoors, which must be most of us outdoor people, really, in some format or other. Price points, please. Okay,
so the Freeloader with its solar panels, with a USB connection cable, its power cord, and its 11 adapter tips is $29.99, and the Supercharger is $19.99. The pouch itself, if you wanted the pouch to hold Freeloader, is $7.99, but we'll be launching very shortly a bundle product which is called a Freeloader Globetrotter, which basically contains the Freeloader, the Supercharger and the pouch, and that'll be $49.99.
So that's the whole lot, the whole package altogether?
Correct, yeah.
Tim, it's been, a good couple of years or so since I've spoken to you, but last time we discussed Montane. Certainly the range of products you had was growing rapidly, as well as the technical fabrics you were using, and you were having great success in the marketplace. Here you are now at the outdoor show, on the showcase stand there, as well as, I think, dotted around, I've seen a few retailers selling your products. Things have moved forward quite dramatically for Montane, I understand.
Yes, Bob. Well, our product range has got bigger over the past couple of years. We've branched the brand out a little bit more. Historically, we've been very much a technical outdoor clothing brand. We remain a technical outdoor clothing brand, but we do a lot more product now for trail and street running, and a lot of product for cycling, both road cycling and mountain biking. So there's a wider range of products. The idea is that it appeals to more of the sports that people generally do. It's pretty common that someone who perhaps goes hill walking, mountaineering, scrambling, has got a bicycle, for example, and it's reasonable that they might want lightweight, breathable clothing for use on their bicycle, or they might go running, and we've tried to cater to that.
Well, it certainly seems that I've seen the products in a whole variety of different shops with different disciplines and interests, which is encouraging, and obviously that's proven the point. How are you finding it as regards the materials that you're using? Because I know there was a big question mark a couple of years back about Pertex and the way that was changing in events, and I'm not too sure of the politics and what's changed, but how has it developed, and has it affected you much?
Yeah. With regards to the politics, I always prefer never to comment on the politics, but things have changed a lot. Things are constantly developing and moving forwards. With Pertex, they shut down their production facility in the UK, which was regrettable. They've actually moved their production now to Japan. If anything, the quality is the same as we used to get from the UK, possibly even better. It's perhaps more convenient for our production facilities, which are located in Asia. So Pertex is business as usual. There's some great new fabrics coming through. We've actually changed some of the fabrics which we use on some of our most popular products. So, for example, our Featherlight Smock has changed to a new pattern of Pertex. It remains Pertex Microlite, but we've introduced two different textures just to make the product look a little bit better. We've done the same with our Lightspeed jacket for men and women also. When you talk about event, again, there's been a lot of developments with event. Events become a much more popular fabric. There's a lot more brands using it. The consumers are much more aware of what's going on. We've certainly been putting some effort into doing some advertising, to get the message out there about the fact that this stuff is more breathable than anything else. With the production side of event, again, there's some interesting developments. Event was previously the production was contracted out to other companies. Now, Event are large enough that last month they opened their own lamination factory in China, and that's a big step forward for the brand. It means that there's a lot more people adopting it, and it means it's here to stay.
Talking about fabrics, I see you started using stretch fabrics, and they certainly seem to be creeping more into the range. Is that a long-term plan?
Yeah, well, stretch fabrics in certain circumstances enhance the functionality of garments. So it makes sense to use them. I think historically we've been perhaps a little resistant for stretch fabrics from the point of view of what we see from some of our competitors, where you make jackets entirely from stretch fabrics. It's not always absolutely necessary. So we're putting in kind of critical panels of stretch, because what often happens with stretch, particularly in the case of the Pertex Equilibrium fabrics, when the fabric stretches, you actually open the fabric up and you make it a little bit more air permeable. And in certain situations that works well because you want it a bit more breathable, but at other times you don't. So we're just putting the fabric into critical places, and we're putting it into the backs of knees and the backs of thighs, so that when you lift your leg high, if you're at home now, lift your knee up and put your hand behind your thigh and you'll feel your trousers have gone tight. That's where you can put stretch fabric. You see a lot of trousers with stretch fabric across the knee. Touch your knee now and see how tight the fabric is on your knee. It isn't very tight. And so, we're doing some clever things with stretch. We're also introducing it into some of the event waterproof jackets for autumn-winter 2008 as well. We're putting critical panels across the back. If you now take your arms, cross them across your chest, you'll feel that, whatever you're wearing, you'll feel the pressure goes kind of tight across your shoulder blades. That's where you want stretch. You don't need stretch down the inside of your forearm. There's no requirement for it at all. We put it in the places where it's required and nowhere else. And actually, if I'm absolutely honest about it, in the past, we've had trouble getting the designs absolutely right. And we've had to put things through a lot of prototyping and a lot of testing to be absolutely happy with what's going on. And I would encourage people to look out for the new Terra Equilibrium pants, in an outdoor store this summer. Unlike most of our other products, which are new for this summer, which are on sale now, This new Terra Equilibrium pant is not. It's delayed because we spent extra time making sure we got the functionality absolutely right, and we weren't happy to bring it to the market until it was spot on.
That's really interesting. I mean, talking about sort of marketing generally, I noticed 2007 seemed to be the year of soft shell. And here we are in 2008, looking around the stands and the show generally, I haven't seen the words used. Has it been and gone, do you reckon?
I'm not sure. I mean, it depends on your definition of soft shell,
Absolutely,
I think.
Yeah.
We've been making soft shell since 1993. People have been talking about soft shell for the past couple of years. We've been doing it for a long time, quietly. I think in the past couple of years the media got quite hot on soft shell. Soft shell's been quite a fashionable thing. I think it's going to remain that way. We've got a lot of new products in development for autumn-winter 2008 and the whole of 2009, both spring and autumn-winter, where we've got new soft shell products coming through the whole time. Soft shell is such a broad description that meets so many different garments that it's almost what our whole business is built on, soft shells. That's what we do.
So what are the confusing points on soft shell? Because different people have got different descriptions of what it actually means. What are your thoughts on it?
My thoughts change from time to time because there's so much going on in the media about, is a soft shell a laminated product? Is it an air permeable product? Is it a bi-component product? In the case of laminated soft shells, does it have tape seams? And if it does, are they on the inside or are they on the outside? And I've just talked about 5 different concepts there, and they're all called soft shell. And there's probably another 15, if you sat down and thought about it, that could conceivably be considered soft shell products. I think ultimately what people should do is they should take the advice of an expert, be that telephoning the brand that interests you most and asking their customer service people what their view is, or ask a friend or go into an outdoor store and ask them and get what's right for you, because soft shell varies so much. We have the Pile Pertex products, which essentially are soft shell. They're a wind and water resistant outer with a wicking inner, but if you wore that product at anything above 0, you'd probably find it was far too warm. So it's a soft shell that's great for extreme winter conditions. But we have other products which are very simple Pertex microlight shells with a very, very light fleece lining to them, and you could consider them soft shell, but you might use it for running in the winter or biking in the autumn or walking on a spring day. It varies. I would say to people, get some advice, and regardless of what people call it, just get the thing that's right for you, and the way things are these days, it will probably be a soft shell.
Well, just changing the subject very, very quickly. I see this year you're in the brand showcase, and it's drawing in a lot of crowds when the fashion show comes on. Has it been a benefit to you?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a benefit to us. We've got 7 or 8 outfits in the fashion show, and we're using it to showcase some of the new colours in the range, where for women we've got some kind of quite pastel grey colours. We've got a lot of interesting new textures going on. We're contrasting these pastel grey colours with some really vivid greens and some bright kind of berry purple colours, and putting those garments onto the models here, which obviously they look fantastic, the garments fit fantastic. It helps us to show people what's new. We've also got the same products in the show next to the show in the showcase area, so people can then actually come and touch them and look at them. And we're finding that the response to some of the really bright green colours, for the women, has been extremely high, and I expect you'll be seeing a fair bit of that in the stores this autumn.
Sam, lovely to see you here again at the outdoor show. We've sort of touched base with you over the last 2 or 3 years since, I suppose, you first started with Dragon's Den, and you seem to be growing every time I see you.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, this year the stand is twice as big as it was last year, and we've got twice as many products, so it's really good.
So, come on then, let's have some feedback from people now, because you've been developing the products, and I see you've gone into a colour range as well now.
Yeah, I think that's come actually from the feedback. People have said, oh, we want different colours, whether, I don't know, maybe to match their mobile, or just because they want different colours in the family. So your toothbrush is blue, my Shewee's pink, yours is white. So yeah, we've got different colours, and we've also brought about a perfect case that's just made especially for Shewee, and the extension pipe called the Shewee Extreme. So that's got your bits and bobs in it if you're going somewhere extreme like skiing skiing or mountaineering in the winter.
Sorry, the Shewee Extreme. Ken just have all sorts of ideas.
Yeah, extreme. So a little play on words as well.
Oh, fantastic. And you've also sort of broken out into a few other products I can see here. Just to tell our listeners about them.
Well, we've also got the absorbent pouch, which we brought about again through customers' feedback. People were saying, well, what have you got for the men? And as us girls know, men were born with a Shewee. They didn't need one, but they want something to wee into if they're in a tent, other than a bottle. Bottle's the most environmentally friendly, but these bags means that if you wee into them, it doesn't freeze. And it means in the middle of the night, if you grab your bottle, you know that your bottle's got water in it and it hasn't got wee in it. So girls can wee into the absorbent pouch in a car, in a tent, and so can men without obviously a Shewee. They just use it straight. And it's also quite good for children, the absorbent pouch, if they're stuck in their car seat and they have to go.
Well, I mean, I'm guessing that must be very, very popular for certain people in the outdoor market, but I'm also presuming the festival market, that must be very popular then as well.
Yeah, the festival market is good for the absorbent pouch because I guess lots of people have lots of beer and then they get into their tent at night and think, oh, I don't want to go and crawl across the field to the disgusting toilet. Yeah. So that's good. And the absorbent pouch works a bit like a nappy in that once you've used it, if you did put your hand inside, it wouldn't get wet. So you're not fearing that you're carrying liquid around. It turns it into a gel and then turns it hard.
And what's in the survival box? I see there's a Shewee survival box.
Well, we brought the survival boxes out. They've got one of everything. They've got the X-fronts, which I think may have touched on before, and they're specially designed pants. They look like regular boxers, but they're pink, and they've got a fly in them that actually works. So up until now, women's pants haven't had a fly in them. So it's fine to use a Shewee, but even easier if it's got a fly. So they've got some X-fronts in, they've got some absorbent pouches, a Shewee, and the hand sanitizer, which is always helpful when you're out and about, and a t-shirt. So, you know, if you're out and about and you think, oh, my t-shirt's wet, I need a new one, there's not one of those in. Good for the gift market.
Well, congratulations on the way you've expanded. I mean, did you visualise or anticipate to be anything like this when you were standing in front of the Dragons all those times ago? It must be, 3 years ago now,
it was in 2005, I think. And what are we now? 2008. So, yeah, it was 3 years ago. And, well, I guess I'd hoped to visualise that it would be like this, but I never thought that it would be as big as it is. And we've been fortunate that Dragon's Den have come back to us. They came back to us once to see how we were doing, which is fantastic. And then this Christmas, they came back and did a little Christmas special. So all the comedians on Christmas Day were talking about Shewee, which we couldn't have asked for. Primetime TV.
So come on then, the people that are listening to this now, we've got the new boxes, new items. Just give me a quick price rundown.
Okay, we've got the Shewee that is £6, and that's for whether you buy a pink one, a blue one or a white one. Then we've got the extension pipe, which is £1.50. Then we've got the Shewee Extreme, which is £10, and that's for in the Shewee Extreme you get the Shewee, the pipe and the new case. We've also got the X-fronts, which are £10, and the survival box, which has got one of everything, which is £25, and they can all be got from our website, shewee.com, or we've just this week got a couple of the products into blacks and millets, so they should be in there from the beginning of April.
Oh, well, congratulations on that front. How are you finding the world market? Because I think the last time we had a conversation, you were just trying to break into Australia and America. Has that worked for you?
Yeah, Australia and America have been fantastic. So has New Zealand, and they're stocking the Shewee, the pipes and the absorbent pouches, and they're trying to get them into retailers in those countries, but they also run their own websites to make it easier than everything coming from the UK. And the other markets, unfortunately Japan hasn't taken off as well as we'd hoped, but it's getting there. And then we've also got South Africa, Poland, Spain actually has just taken off, and South America, because the Spanish is distributing out to South America. So yeah, it's going well for the rest of the world.
Have you found that the different countries and the different backgrounds, as it were, they've all taken to it quite happily, or there's been a few amusing stories?
I think they've all taken it quite happily, but I think the Japanese, we thought that they would be prudish, more prudish than the British and the Americans, and that's why it's taken a bit longer. So I think everyone else seems to have run with it. I mean, New Zealand's been the best. They've just got no fears and just go, give me one of them. So yes, it's good.
Oh, well, congratulations once again. Lovely to see you at the show, and I guess if I don't see you before, I'll see you same time next year.
Yeah, definitely. Brilliant. Thank you.
Well, I'm walking around the outdoor show, and I've found a man who's basically standing in a pair of socks in a big vat of water. He's Andrew Dull, and he's from Sealskins, who, of course, are famous for making waterproof socks. Must be fascinating, standing in the water all day.
Well, I think everybody looks at me and thinks I must be quite mad. But what we've got is a truly waterproof sock. So what I do is I get people to put their hands in the socks rather than their smelly feet. And they splash around in a paddle of water. And the sort of looks of thinking I'm mad go to, oh, well, that's really quite neat. So I make a range of waterproof socks. Just get used for cycling, walking, the military are using them, canoeing, really anywhere where you can get cold, wet feet.
Now, I know a lot of people know about them, even if they haven't tried them, and people always sit there thinking, well, really can be they waterproof? But they are, aren't they? But the next question I suppose has got to be, well, if they're waterproof, are they breathable?
They are breathable, absolutely. They've got a membrane into them, which is waterproof and breathable. And then we have an inner layer, which is really good at wicking and pulling moisture away from the feet. Membrane breathes, so actually they keep your feet comfortable, dry, and control the temperature of them. And they get used for everything from, running. They're even recommended use for running in the Marathon des Sables, which is in the desert, stopping the sand get between the toes. So if you're not going to get hot, sweaty feet in the desert, then I don't know where you could get hot, sweaty feet.
So, thinking about those of us that living in the UK have to do a lot of walking in the winter when it's very, very wet and boggy, you'd take those with a normal pair of boots. You wouldn't have to wear liners or anything underneath.
No, you wear them next to your skin. The great thing about them is that they come further up your leg than a regular pair of boots. So you're wearing a pair of trainers or multi-activity shoes, water goes in over the top of those and your feet get wet. The sock comes higher up your leg and keep you warm and dry no matter what the weather.
Right. Of course, Sealskin don't just produce socks, do you? You're getting a kind of wide range of other things, but including some quite impressive gloves and mittens.
Yeah, we use exactly the same technology for making gloves. So they're waterproof and very close fitting, and those again get used for the whole range of activities. I even had, last time we were here, I had someone come in and tell me that they were fantastic for defrosting the freezer.
I never thought about that. It's certainly the case that when you're out walking in the hills when it's cold, once your hands get wet, things get very uncomfortable, don't they?
Yeah, I think one of the most unpleasant things anyway is to have cold, wet hands, feet, and heads, and that's really what we specialise in. You can take what can be a great day can be ruined by feeling cold, wet and miserable, and that's really where we specialise.
Okay, so anybody wanting to try out some really waterproof socks or waterproof gloves and mittens, you know where to go. And
the other interesting thing is that they're all made in the United Kingdom. So
there aren't many companies that can claim.
No, King's Lynn in Norfolk, we have a small factory there, and that's where we make them all.
Very good. So not only are they waterproof, but British as well. Well, I'm going to leave you there to splash around in your vat of water for a bit longer. Have an enjoyable afternoon.
Sure we will. Many thanks.
Cheers.
Now that Montane have taken over distribution of pacer poles in the UK, I'm sure you'll be seeing more of them around the retail outlets near you. So I took the chance to speak to Paul Cosgrove, who's their pacer pole expert, and asked him to tell me exactly what makes these products so unique and why people should consider them.
Oh, well, I guess it's all about the handle. That's definitely its point of difference over the other poles. A normal kind of walking pole, you're just kind of holding onto a stick, really, and you're using the wrist strap a lot of pressures on the wrist strap and things like that. And with a handle, what you're doing is you're actually turning that point into kind of like a biometrical joint. So it's just like an elbow joint or a shoulder joint, and it makes the pole become part of your body. That's the main difference.
I've certainly walked with a few people that have used pacers as well as normal poles, and the ones that were using the pacers, it would appear to be they're like Marmite. You either love them or you hate them, and they wouldn't swap them for anything in the world.
Yeah, true, I guess so. But it takes a kind of word of mouth thing. I guess somebody sees somebody with some poles, tries them out. All of our retailers have demo poles, so you can just go out for a day, try them, see if you like them, and 9 out of 10 times, they'll buy them just out of trying them. We even have people who run with them now. I run with them, all kinds of things, and yeah.
The the way to actually use the pacer pole is slightly different, isn't it, to a normal walking pole in the angle and the striking angle where it hits the ground. Am I right in saying that?
Absolutely. With a normal pole, you're going to pull yourself along. With a pacer pole, you're going to push yourself along. So using your tricep muscle, and your tricep is part of the same muscle group as your quad. And so just like when we're animals walking on all fours, you kind of reactivating that muscle group, the tricep, and so you push yourself uphill. And when the descent, because of the angle of the handle, you can pull the pole out forwards in front of you, you can have it out to the side, and it's much safer and much more efficient on the descent as well. They're called pacer for a reason, I guess. They're called pacer because you move a lot faster over terrain as well. You're much more efficient over the terrain.
Certainly, the good friend of mine that's got a pair and obviously swears by them is remarkably fast on the on the walk. And the way he uses it is very much not so much that his forearm is parallel with the ground as I do with my walking poles, but it's more like it's down at 45 degrees and he's marching but striding, and the poles form an extension of his arm.
Yeah, it's more like a Nordic walking style, I guess. You have the pole at an angle. The best way to discover what the angle is actually to flip the pole the other way around and hold it by its other end and let the weight fall down on the floor, and then you'll find the angle that you need to walk at. You raise the pole up. The perfect height for you is to raise it up to it reaches your elbow joint, and that'll give you the optimum height for the pole for you.
Now, there are two models on the market now. The carbon fibre version is a recent release.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just been out for about 4 months now. Carbon, obviously weight is an issue. We want to get it as light as possible. It's been very good. We've also changed the bolt mechanism in it as well, so it has a better bolt inside it. The bolts that we have, they expand at both ends rather than just one end, so you get a really good tight grip to it. And when you tighten the pole up, it's better to just do it nice and slow, you'll get a good grip with it.
Okay, so you don't have to over-tighten it?
No, absolutely not. If you do it too fast, you can shock it and it won't grip. The bolt won't grip as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the basket that it comes with is a fairly narrow basket. Can you get wider baskets?
Yeah, you get a 4cm mud basket, you get a snow basket with it, you get street feet. In fact, you get spare street feet with it as well.
That all comes as standard?
Yeah, absolutely. You get all the spares with it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I noticed at the other end of the pole, in the handle itself, you've got the removable little socket there, which I understand is for photography. Is that right?
Yeah. We're working on a few things that's going to come out in the future. There's a camera mount that'll come out in the future, and that just pops into that grommet, and you can use it as a camera monopod or something like that. And then the other thing we're working on is a little grommet to attach the two together, so you can turn it into an A-frame, stick a top over it, whatever, and you can bivvy with it. So.
Final question then, of course, price points on these and how to find out where the stockists are.
Yeah, sure. The prices are carbon for a pair. They're always sold as a pair, and they retail at £100. And then the alloy, they retail at £85. And retailers, you can, in most of the major key indies, you can buy them at. Cotswold also retail them, and you can find all that out at pacerpole.com, a list of suppliers. What I would say actually is with carbon versus alloy, it's certainly worth, if you're over 6 foot and you're fairly heavily built and you're quite muscly or whatever, you're probably better off with the alloy than you are the carbon, just because it is a little bit of a stronger pole, whereas the carbon is more suitable for everybody, really.
And that brings another Outdoors Show special podcast to a close. We've got plenty more coming from the whole variety of interviews we did at the show, so make sure you stay tuned. Visit the website, theoutdoorstation.co.uk, and subscribe using iTunes or your normal pod-catching software to make sure you know about the podcasts as soon as they're released. So until next time, think about all that gear you can go and buy.
This independent programme has been brought to you by The Outdoors Station, the exciting new way to see and hear free information about the outdoors world. If you're a blogger, or if you have a website, you can now incorporate any of these podcasts directly to your site, completely free. Visit our website, theoutdoorstation.co.uk, for more information.